I once worked with a woman who told me she had not had a good day in 11 years. 11 years. Can you imagine that? Over 4,000 mornings, and not a single one felt like a gift. She was exhausted in ways that sleep could not fix. She was sick in ways that doctors could not explain. And she was absolutely convinced that life had simply dealt her a losing hand. That somewhere along the way, the universe had decided she was not worthy of happiness, and there was nothing she could do about it. So I asked her one question, just one. I said, "What do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror each morning?" She stared at me like I had asked her something absurd, like I had asked her what color the wind was, or how much a thought weighs. She did not understand why I would ask such a thing. What did a mirror have to do with 11 years of bad days? Then her face crumpled, her eyes filled with tears, and through those tears, she admitted something she had never told anyone. She said, "I do not look. I cannot bear to see myself." That was the moment I knew exactly where her healing would begin. It would not begin with her diet, though she had tried every diet imaginable. It would not begin with her doctor, though she had seen more specialists than she could count. It would not begin with her relationships, though she was certain they were the source of all her problems. No. Her healing would begin with 2 words spoken into a mirror, 2 words she had never said to herself, not once, not in her entire life. Those 2 words were, "I love you." What happened next changed her completely, and I believe with all my heart that what I am about to share with you today can change you too. You see, if you clicked on this video, there is a reason. I do not believe in accidents. I believe that life brings us exactly what we need, exactly when we need it. And right now, in this moment, you and I are here together for a purpose. Perhaps your mornings feel heavy. Perhaps you wake with a knot in your stomach, already dreading what lies ahead before your feet even touch the floor. Perhaps you have tried everything. You have tried the gratitude journals. You have tried the meditation apps. You have tried the morning routines you saw on the internet, the cold showers, the green smoothies, the 5 o'clock wake-up calls, and still something feels off. You cannot quite grab hold of peace. It slips through your fingers like water, and you are left wondering what is wrong with you that you cannot seem to make any of it work. I want you to know something important. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not defective. You have simply been doing things in the wrong order. You have been trying to change your day by changing your circumstances. You rearrange the furniture of your life, hoping that a new arrangement will finally bring you comfort. You change jobs, hoping the new one will be different. You change relationships, hoping the new person will make you feel whole. You change cities, change diets, change wardrobes, change everything you can think of, believing that relief lies somewhere outside yourself. But here is what most people never learn, and it took me many years and much suffering to understand this myself. The day does not originate outside you. Your day originates in your mind. Specifically, it originates in what you think and say to yourself before the world even touches you. Those first moments of consciousness, those first thoughts upon waking, those first words you speak to yourself in silence, they are the seeds from which your entire day grows. How you start your day is how you live your day, and how you live your day is how you live your life. This is not philosophy. This is not something I read in a book somewhere and thought sounded nice. This is the truth I have lived. The truth I have witnessed in thousands of people I have worked with over the decades. The truth that saved my own life when I thought there was nothing left to save. What I am offering you today is not motivation. I know you can find motivation anywhere. You can find someone to tell you to hustle harder, wake up earlier, push through the pain. That is not what I do. What I am offering you is something different. I am offering you medicine for the mind. And once you learn how to administer it, once you understand how to shift the very thoughts that create your experience, you will never start another day the same way again. Before I teach you anything, though, I want to tell you more about that woman I mentioned, the one who had not had a good day in 11 years. Her story may sound familiar to you. Perhaps it sounds like your own. She was a mother of 2 beautiful children. On paper, her life looked successful. She had a nice home, a steady job, a husband who came home every night. From the outside, anyone would have said she had nothing to complain about. But she was not living on the outside. She was living on the inside. And on the inside, she was drowning. Every morning for years, she woke with what she called a stone in her chest. Not a physical stone, but something just as heavy. A weight that pressed down on her heart before she even opened her eyes. Her alarm would go off, and instead of feeling rested, she felt immediate dread. Her mind would begin racing through everything that could go wrong. The argument she might have with her husband, the deadline she might miss at work, the ways her children might disappoint her, or she might disappoint them. As she moved through her house in the early hours, her internal commentary was relentless. She would catch a glimpse of herself in the hallway mirror and think, "You look terrible." She would open her closet and think, "Nothing fits right because you have let yourself go." She would make breakfast for her children and think, "You are not doing enough. You are failing them. A good mother would do more." By the time she dropped those children at school, she was already exhausted. Not from the physical activity of the morning, not from the tasks she had completed, but from the war happening inside her own head. She came to me believing something was wrong with her body. She had been to doctors. She had tried supplements and prescriptions and treatments of all kinds. Nothing worked. Nothing could work because nothing she was trying was addressing the real problem. The real problem was not her body. The real problem was her mind. Or more specifically, the thoughts her mind was producing, hour after hour, day after day, year after year, like a factory that never closes. I asked her to do something simple. I said, "I want you to write down every thought you have during your first hour awake tomorrow morning. Do not judge the thoughts. Do not try to change them. Just observe. Just notice. Write them all down exactly as they come." She came back to me a week later, and she was shaken. The list filled 3 pages, front and back, and when she read through it, she realized something that brought tears to her eyes. Not one single thought on those 3 pages was kind. Not one thought acknowledged her worth. Not one thought gave her credit for anything she was doing right. Not one thought offered her encouragement or compassion or love. She had been bathing in criticism before sunrise, every single morning, for 11 years. And then she wondered why her days felt so heavy. She wondered why she could not find happiness. She wondered what was wrong with her that life seemed so hard. But there was nothing wrong with her. She had simply never been taught how to think. She had inherited thought patterns from her childhood, from her parents, from her teachers, from a society that thrives on fear and criticism, and she had been running those patterns automatically for decades without ever questioning them. She did not create those patterns consciously, but she was living by them unconsciously, and they were destroying her life. We began changing one thought at a time. I did not ask her to transform overnight. I did not give her 100 affirmations to memorize. I gave her one, just one. I told her, "I want you to start saying 'Life loves me.' Say it when you wake up. Say it when you look in the mirror. Say it when the critical thoughts come. Just that one phrase, 'Life loves me.'" She told me it felt false. She told me she did not believe it. She told me it seemed ridiculous to say something she knew was not true. And I told her, "Say it anyway. Say it especially because you do not believe it." The disbelief is exactly what needs to heal. When you plant a seed, you do not see the flower immediately, but the seed is still working beneath the soil. Your words are seeds. Plant them and trust the process. She did. Day after day, she said those words, "Life loves me." At first, nothing seemed to change. At first, She felt foolish, like a child playing pretend, but she kept going. She said those words when she woke, when she showered, when she drove to work, when the critical thoughts came flooding in. And then something shifted. She could not pinpoint exactly when it happened, but within a few weeks, she noticed that the stone in her chest was lighter, not gone, but lighter. She noticed that her mornings were not quite as heavy. She noticed that she was catching the critical thoughts earlier and replacing them faster. She noticed that her children seemed happier around her, that her husband seemed softer, that her colleagues seemed friendlier. Her life had not changed. Her circumstances were exactly the same. Same house, same job, same family, same city. But she was different. Her thoughts were different. And because her thoughts were different, her experience of life was different. It was like waking up in a different house, she told me, except it was the same house. She was just seeing it through different eyes. That is what I want for you. I want you to see your life through different eyes. Not someday, not when things get better, not when you have more money or more time or more energy. Now, today, starting with your very next thought. Let me tell you how I begin my own day. This has taken me years to develop. I did not always live this way. There was a time when I woke up in dread, just like that woman, just like so many of you. There was a time when my mornings were filled with fear and self-criticism and a desperate sense that I was not enough and never would be. But I learned. Through practice, through patience, through willingness to change, I learned. And what I learned, I can share with you. I wake slowly now. I do not leap out of bed like toast popping from a toaster. I do not grab my phone and immediately fill my mind with the problems of the world. I take my time. I stretch. I greet my body with gratitude. I say to myself, "Good morning, bed. Thank you for being so comfortable. I love you." Now, this may sound silly to you. Talking to your bed, thanking your mattress. What kind of advice is that? But I want you to understand something important. Every word we speak carries vibration. Every thought we think sends signals through our body. When I begin my day with appreciation, even for something as simple as my bed, I am setting a tone of love rather than lack. I am telling my subconscious mind that I live in a friendly universe, a universe that supports me, a universe that provides me with comfort, and my subconscious mind believes what I tell it. After I stretch, I do a few gentle movements to wake my body. Nothing strenuous, just gentle stretches that feel good. I make a cup of tea, something warm and soothing, and I take it back to bed. I have a special headboard that allows me to sit up comfortably and read or write. I have carried this headboard with me for years because I have learned to make my bedroom a sanctuary, a place of peace, a place where I feel safe and loved. I do a bit of spiritual reading in the morning, just a few pages, something that elevates my mind, something that reminds me of the truth of who I am. I stretch my body, and then I stretch my mind. Both need attention, both need care. If there is an important activity coming up that day, a meeting or an interview or a conversation I am nervous about, I make sure to do positive affirmations around it. And I always do them in the present tense, as if the situation is already occurring successfully. I might say, "I know this is a wonderful meeting. It is an easy flow of ideas between myself and the other person. Everything goes smoothly and effortlessly. Both of us are pleased with the outcome. I see it clearly in my mind. I feel it in my body." And then I let it go, trusting that life will bring me exactly what I need. Before I face anyone, before I step out into the world, I look in the mirror, not to critique myself, not to assess my appearance and find flaws. I look into my own eyes and I say, "Good morning, Louise. I love you. I really, really love you. There are great experiences coming our way today." This practice saved my life. I mean that literally. When I was healing from cancer, when I was climbing out of the darkness of my childhood, when I was learning for the first time to believe that I deserved happiness. These small morning rituals became the foundation of my new life. They are the foundation still. Someone once asked me, "Louise, do you ever have a bad day? Do you ever wake up in a bad mood or feel depressed?" I thought carefully about how to answer, because I wanted to be truthful. And the truth is, not much anymore. I have been practicing for a long time now. I have good habits in place. It is all about practice. Just like playing an instrument or learning a language, training your mind takes practice. You would not expect to sit down at a piano for the first time and play a symphony. You would not expect to speak French fluently after one lesson. So why do we expect our minds to change instantly? Change takes time. Change takes patience. Change takes willingness. But change is absolutely possible. I am living proof of that. And so are the thousands of people whose lives I have watched transform over the years. I want to tell you another story now. This one comes from a letter I received years ago. It was from a man in prison. He had been incarcerated since he was 16 years old, and when he wrote to me, he had been behind bars for more than a decade. He described his life before he found my work. He said he had been surviving in a concrete cage, experiencing little compassion and no healing. He said the only relief he found came in the form of substances, ways to numb himself to the pain of his existence. He was repeating the same destructive patterns over and over, living in what he called a medicated daze of powerlessness and denial. Then someone gave him my book. A spiritual teacher he had been corresponding with sent it to him, and at first he resisted it. He thought it was not for him. He thought his situation was different, that he was beyond help, that no amount of positive thinking could change the reality of concrete walls and iron bars. But something made him open it anyway, and what he found inside those pages gave him something he had not felt in years: hope. He began writing affirmations. He began telling himself, each morning when he woke in that small cell, "I am willing to change. I am worthy of love. The point of power is now." He said that repeatedly writing an affirmation brought about the power of transformation in a way he had never experienced before. He wrote to tell me that for the first time in his life, he had found internal freedom, not external freedom. His circumstances had not changed. He was still in that cell, but internal freedom. Freedom from the prison of his own thoughts. Freedom from the patterns that had been running his life since childhood. Freedom from the belief that he was worthless and beyond redemption. Others noticed the change in him. His clinician noticed. Other inmates noticed. He began sharing the book with others who were suffering. He told me that affirmations from my work added hope and bright colors to a life that had known only gray. Here is what struck me so deeply about this man's letter. He was in a cage, a literal, physical cage made of concrete and steel, and yet he had become freer than most people walking the streets. Because he understood something that most people never learn. Freedom does not begin with circumstances. Freedom begins with the thoughts you choose. So I ask you now, gently, with love, if a man behind bars can transform his mornings and change his life, what excuse do the rest of us really have? I know some of you are thinking, "But Louise, you do not understand my situation. My life is too hard. My problems are too big. My past is too painful." I have tried positive thinking, and it did not work. I hear you. I truly do. And I want you to know that I am not asking you to pretend your problems do not exist. I am not asking you to paste a smile on your face and ignore your pain. That is not what this work is about. What I am asking you to do is consider a possibility. Just consider it. The possibility that the thoughts you think, hour after hour, day after day, are contributing to your experience of life. The possibility that changing those thoughts, even slightly, even gradually, could change your experience. The possibility that you have more power than you have been taught to believe. Everything you think and say to yourself is an affirmation. This is one of the most important things I can teach you. You do not need to sit quietly in a special room with candles lit and soft music playing to practice affirmations. You are doing affirmations all day long. Every thought you think is an affirmation. Every word you speak to yourself is an affirmation. The question is, what are you affirming? When you wake up in the morning and your first thought is, "I am so tired," that is an affirmation. You are affirming exhaustion. You are telling your body and your mind that tiredness is your reality. And your body and your mind believe you. When you look in the mirror and think, "I look awful today," that is an affirmation. You are affirming inadequacy. You are telling yourself that you are not enough, that there is something wrong with your appearance, that you are failing at the simple task of existing in a body. When you review your to-do list and think, "I will never get all this done," that is an affirmation. You are affirming overwhelm. You are programming yourself to feel defeated before you have even begun. The universe is always listening. Life is always responding to the signals you send out. If you spend your mornings affirming exhaustion, inadequacy, and overwhelm, you are programming your day to deliver exactly those experiences. And then you will point to your exhausting, overwhelming day and say, "See, I knew it would be like this. I was right." But what if you were right about something else? What if you affirmed something different? What if, instead of "I am so tired," you said, "I am resting into this new day with ease"? What if, instead of "I look awful," you said, "I love and accept myself exactly as I am right now"? What if, instead of "I will never get all this done," you said, "I have time for everything that is truly important today"? I know these new thoughts might feel false at first. I know they might feel like lies. The woman I told you about, the one who had not had a good day in 11 years, she felt the same way. She said "life loves me" felt like a joke when she first started saying it, but she said it anyway, and over time, something shifted. The false became familiar. The familiar became comfortable. The comfortable became true. This is how the mind works. You do not wait for the feeling before you think the thought. You think the thought, and the feeling follows. You do not wait for the harvest before you plant the seed. You plant the seed, and trust that the harvest will come. Most people believe they need to feel good before they can think good thoughts. They wait for circumstances to improve before they allow themselves to be optimistic. They tell themselves, "When I get that job, then I will feel positive. When I find that relationship, then I will feel lovable. When I lose that weight, then I will feel worthy. When my health improves, then I will feel hopeful." But it works the other way around. You must think the thought first. You must plant the seed of the experience you want, and then life responds by bringing you circumstances that match your dominant thoughts. This is not magic. This is how consciousness works. This is how energy works. Your thoughts are not just ephemeral wisps floating through your brain. Your thoughts are creative forces. They send signals throughout your body. They transmit energy out into the world. They attract circumstances and people and experiences that match their vibration. Science now has a word for the chemical messengers that travel through your body every time you think a thought or speak a word. They are called neuropeptides. When your thoughts are angry, judgmental, or critical, these chemical messengers depress your immune system. They create stress hormones that flood your bloodstream. They tighten your muscles and constrict your breathing and prepare your body for danger. When your thoughts are loving, peaceful, and empowering, these same messengers carry different chemicals to different parts of your body. They enhance your immune system. They promote healing and relaxation. They open your breathing and soften your muscles and tell your body that it is safe. This is not metaphysical speculation. This is biology. This is what researchers have discovered when they study the connection between mind and body. Your words are not just sounds you make with your mouth. Your words are instructions to your entire system. They are programming your cells, your organs, your nervous system, your very experience of being alive. So I ask you again, what are you affirming? What instructions are you giving your body when you wake each morning? What programming are you running when you speak to yourself throughout the day? I want to share something with you now that took me many years to fully understand. There are 4 mental patterns that cause the most dis-ease in body and life. 4 patterns that, held long enough, will make you sick. 4 patterns that will poison your days and drain your joy and keep you stuck in suffering no matter how hard you try to escape. These 4 patterns are criticism, anger, resentment, and guilt. Now, I know you might be thinking that everyone criticizes sometimes, everyone gets angry, everyone holds resentment about certain things, everyone feels guilty about something. And you are right. These are human experiences. I am not asking you to become a robot who never feels negative emotions. What I am asking you to pay attention to is when these patterns become chronic, when they become habits, when they run constantly in the background of your mind like a radio station you forgot to turn off. Because when criticism, anger, resentment, and guilt become your default settings, they do not just affect your mood, they affect your body, they affect your health. They affect every area of your life. Let me explain what I mean. Criticism indulged in long enough often leads to conditions like arthritis. Think about what arthritis is: the joints becoming stiff and inflexible, the body hardening around certain points. This is what criticism does to the mind. It makes us rigid, it makes us inflexible, it makes us hard and unbending in our judgments of ourselves and others. And eventually, that rigidity shows up in the body. Anger turns into things that boil and burn, infections, inflammations, fevers, conditions that involve heat and redness and the body attacking itself. Anger is fire, and when we hold on to it, when we let it smolder inside us day after day, it eventually finds expression in physical form. Resentment held for years literally eats away at the self. I know this from personal experience. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I understood immediately what had created it: resentment. Deep, old, buried resentment that I had been carrying for decades from a childhood of abuse and violation. That resentment had been eating away at me emotionally for years. And finally, it began eating away at me physically. Guilt always seeks punishment. This is one of the most important things I can teach you about the mind. When you feel guilty about something, your subconscious mind believes you deserve to be punished. And so it arranges for punishment, accidents, illness, chronic pain, failure, loss. Not because some external force is punishing you, but because your own mind is creating circumstances that match your belief in your guilt. I am not telling you this to frighten you. I am telling you this to empower you. Because if these patterns can create dis-ease, then releasing these patterns can create healing. If criticism has made your body rigid, then softening your judgments can restore flexibility. If anger has created inflammation, then learning to release anger can reduce that inflammation. If resentment has been eating away at you, then forgiveness can stop that process and allow healing to begin. If guilt has been arranging for your punishment, then releasing guilt can remove the need for that punishment. This is the work I did when I was healing from cancer. I did not simply try to kill the cancer with surgery or chemicals, although I respect those who choose those paths. I went to the root cause. I asked myself, what resentment am I holding that has created this condition? And then I did the work of forgiveness. I forgave everyone who had ever hurt me. I forgave myself for all the ways I had hurt myself and others. I released the past. I let it go. And in doing so, I removed the mental pattern that had created the physical condition. 6 months later, the doctors confirmed what I already knew. The cancer was gone. Not because I was special, not because I had some gift that others lack, but because I understood the connection between mind and body, and I was willing to do the work. I am not saying that everyone who does this work will have the same results. I am not saying that you should abandon medical treatment and rely solely on positive thinking. I am saying that the mental component of healing is real, it is powerful, and it is something most people completely ignore. When a client comes to me, no matter how dire their situation seems, I know that if they are willing to do the mental work, if they are willing to release old patterns and forgive almost anything part of the fabric of my consciousness, perhaps some of them will become part of yours as well. I wake each morning and I say, today is a new day. Today I begin anew. I release the past, and I welcome all the good that life has for me. When I face my reflection, I say, I love and approve of myself. I am beautiful exactly as I am. I accept myself completely. When I feel fear arising, I say, I am safe. It is only a thought, and thoughts can be changed. I release all fear, and I embrace love. When I encounter others, I say silently, I bless you and wish you well. May you be happy. May you be at peace. When I face a challenge, I say, I am capable of handling this. The universe supports me. I find solutions easily and effortlessly. When I feel the pull of old resentments, I say, I forgive everyone in my past for all perceived wrongs. I release them with love. I am free. When I notice myself criticizing, I say, I choose to see the good. Everyone is doing the best they can. I send them love. When I go to sleep at night, I say, I have done enough today. I release this day, and I prepare for restful sleep. Tomorrow brings new blessings. These affirmations are simple. They are not complicated or mysterious. Their power is not in their complexity, but in their repetition. The more you say them, the more they become embedded in your consciousness. The more embedded they become, the more they influence your automatic thoughts. And your automatic thoughts create your life. Think of your mind like a garden. The thoughts you consciously choose are like seeds you plant intentionally. The thoughts you think by habit are like seeds that blow in on the wind. If you want a beautiful garden, you must tend it. You must plant what you want and pull out what you do not want. You must do this again and again, because the wind keeps blowing and unwanted seeds keep arriving. Your mind is the same. Negative thoughts will come. The wind of the world will blow fear and criticism and doubt toward you constantly. You cannot stop the wind. But you can choose not to let those seeds take root. You can notice them, acknowledge them, and replace them with something you actually want to grow. This is the work. This is the practice. This is what creates better days. Some days you will do it perfectly. Some days you will forget. Some days you will fall back into old patterns and not even notice until hours have passed. This is normal. This is human. Do not use it as evidence against yourself. Just come back. Come back to the practice. Come back to the mirror. Come back to the affirmation. Come back to the present moment, which is the only place your power lives. I have been doing this work for more than 50 years now, and I still have to do it. The patterns still try to return. The critical voice still speaks sometimes. The fear still arises in moments of challenge. The difference is that now I catch it quickly. Now I know what to do with it. Now I have tools and practices that allow me to shift out of negativity and back into love within minutes instead of days or weeks. That is what I want for you. Not perfection, progress, not the elimination of all negative thoughts, the ability to work with them when they come. Not a life without challenges, a consciousness that can meet challenges with grace. You have everything you need already. The power is within you. It has always been within you. You did not need this video to give you something you lacked. You only needed this video to remind you of what you had forgotten. You are magnificent. You are worthy. You are capable of creating the life you want. Now go do it. Start tomorrow morning. No, start tonight. Before you sleep, say to yourself, tomorrow is the first day of my new life. I am willing to change. I am ready to experience something better. And when you wake, when those first moments of consciousness arrive, remember this, remember me, remember what we talked about, and choose a new thought. Choose life loves me. Choose this is a blessed day. Choose I am worthy of good. Let that be the first seed you plant. And see what grows. I believe in you. I see the magnificent being that you truly are, beneath all the layers of fear and doubt and criticism. You are ready for this. You have always been ready. Now is your time. There is one final thing I want to leave you with. A truth that took me many years to fully understand. A truth that I hope will serve as an anchor for you as you walk this path of transformation. The love that you are seeking, the acceptance that you are craving, the validation that you have been waiting your whole life to receive, it is not out there somewhere. It is not in the approval of another person. It is not in the achievement of some goal. It is not in the accumulation of money or possessions or accolades. The love you are seeking is within you. It has always been within you. Deep at the center of your being, there is an infinite well of love. This love does not depend on what you do or how you look or what others think of you. It is unconditional. It is eternal. It is the essence of who you really are beneath all the stories and the wounds and the conditioning. When you do the mirror work, when you look into your own eyes and say, I love you, you are not creating something that was not there. You are uncovering something that has always been there. You are removing the layers of doubt and criticism and fear that have been blocking your access to your own heart. This is not arrogance. This is not selfishness. This is the foundation of everything good in life. When you love yourself, truly and deeply, you have love to give. When you are filled up from within, you do not desperately need others to fill you. Your relationships become healthier because you are not coming from a place of need and lack. You become a source of love in the world rather than a drain on it. So many of us were taught that self-love is wrong, that it is vain or conceited or sinful. We were taught that the virtuous path is to put others first, to deny ourselves, to sacrifice our own well-being for the sake of others. But this teaching has created generations of depleted, resentful people who give out of obligation rather than abundance, and who secretly hope others will finally give back to them what they have been unwilling to give themselves. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot give what you do not have. If you want to love others well, you must first love yourself. If you want to be generous, you must first be generous with yourself. If you want to forgive others, you must first forgive yourself. This is not selfish. This is simple mathematics. You give from your overflow, not from your reserves. When you fill yourself with love, you naturally overflow onto everyone around you. When you deplete yourself trying to give from emptiness, you become bitter and exhausted and have nothing left for anyone, including yourself. So make this commitment today. Commit to loving yourself, not as a reward for becoming perfect, not as something you will earn when you lose weight or get the promotion or find the relationship. Now, as you are, with all your flaws and failures and unfinished business, love yourself now. You have been waiting long enough. You have been putting it off long enough. You have been believing that someday you will deserve your own love. But someday is not a real day. There is only today. There is only now. In this present moment, you can choose love. You can choose to speak kindly to yourself. You can choose to forgive your mistakes. You can choose to see your beauty and your worth. Will you make that choice? Will you begin today? The door is open. The path is clear. The power is within you. All you have to do is take the first step, and I will be here, cheering you on, believing in you, sending you love across whatever distance separates us. You are not alone on this journey. You are part of a great awakening that is happening across the world. Millions of people are discovering the same truths you are discovering. Millions are beginning to think differently, to love themselves, to create better days. we are doing this together, and together we are changing the world. One thought at a time, one morning at a time, one person at a time.